And next out, we have Greg Gifford, who is the Director of Search and Social at Dealer-On. He is a jet-set speaker. After this, he's he's flying out to speak at Brighton SEO. He keynoted Affiliate Summit recently, and he's really a genius as far as it goes with local SEO. He really is somebody that I hope you will listen to. He's also a fun guy. So, please welcome Greg Gifford.
Can we make sure to turn the lights down on that a little so they show it better?
Lights down, please.
All right, we're going to turn the lights down on these slides a little bit so you can see them better. So how many people here have not seen me speak? I'm going to see a lot of hands, right? Okay, don't even try to take notes. I go really stinking fast. You're not going to be able to keep up. I have over 120 slides to do in 20 minutes here. You can download the slides right there at bit.ly/goonies-local-SEO. So you can get the slides. They're up right now. As he said, I run the SEO department for Dealer-On. We're a company that provides websites to new car dealerships all over the country, so I do SEO for a lot of car dealers. I've been doing car dealer SEO for about 5 or 6 years. I am an international speaker on local SEO, so this is going to be a lot of really awesome inside tips for you. You can read stuff that I write. I have a monthly column on Search Engine Land. I also post on our blog all the time, and there are weekly tip videos, our Wednesday workshop every Wednesday that's free information about marketing and SEO and PPC, so definitely check that out. And I'm also a firm believer in the fact that bullet points kill kittens, so this will be a bullet point-free presentation. And you probably noticed there we had the Goonies. I'm a giant Goonies fan. I've got a tattoo of sloth right here on my leg. I was a film major in college, so every time I do a presentation, it's a movie theme, and today's theme is comedy movies. So we have 104 comedy movie references in my slides today, including at least one comedy movie for every year in the last 50 years, and 19 movies from 1985, which is the high point of American film comedy. Now, I do understand that there are a lot of young bucks in here that will probably not get some of the older stuff. The older crowd in here is going to really appreciate some of the stuff. But for those of you that don't know what the movies are, I do have attribution in the bottom corner so you can see what the movies are. So are we ready? Is everybody pumped? All right. Oh, man, these slides are really dark with this. Why the long face? Are you guys wondering, dude, where's my site in the rankings? Are you spending all of your time looking up at competitors that rank higher than you? It's really frustrating, isn't it? You guys... You guys feel like you're clueless about SEO? Now, I don't want to seem like I've got a huge head with its own gravity system, but I'm going to give you guys some really badass tips today. And unlike some other speakers you may have seen at conferences in the past, I'm not going to talk out of my ass. I'm going to give you guys a lot of really actionable tips that are going to help you as soon as you walk out the door. But remember, there is no miracle pill for SEO. It takes hard work and dedication. But if you follow the tips that I give you guys today, you'll be as awesome and as visible as the Flying Elvises. And for those of you that have seen this movie, like, it's kind of hard to see, but that guy right there, Burton Gilliam's been in a ton of movies. The guy lives like 2 blocks from me. He's like the coolest dude and has the best stories ever. He still calls them pictures. I made this many pictures. It's so cool. But anyway, just like a fat guy in a little coat, I'm going to squeeze in as much information as I can today. So, how many people in here are pretty familiar with SEO? Hands. Okay, so there's some unfamiliar people. There's actually 2 kinds of SEO. We've got traditional SEO, which is what everybody in here is familiar with. It's doing things to your website to get a website to rank whenever somebody does a search on Google. Now, with local SEO, you're trying to get a website to rank in a specific geographic area. So think pizza delivery. If you type just pizza delivery and don't put in a city, Google's going to give you local results because it knows that you need something local. Any business that has a physical location absolutely needs to do local SEO. Now, if you need proof, if you're trying to work with a client and prove to them, hey, you really need to be going the extra mile and doing local SEO, or if you're in-house and you're trying to prove to your boss that you need to do this, there's a simple math equation that really outlines it very easily. You can go there to bit.ly/SEO-math. That's a post on Search Engine Land that outlines this. I'm going to do this several times today where I'm going to mention something and say, hey, go check out this link, because it lets me squeeze in more stuff. So I'm not going to go into it. bit.ly/SEO-math. It's awesome. Go use it. And with local search, Google really wants local to be like a drive-through window. Google wants you to be able to pull in, get what you need really quickly, and then be on your way. But you guys all know what the problem with drive-through windows is, right?
They fuck you at the drive-thru, okay? They fuck you at the drive-thru.
Can we turn the audio up a little? That's kind of quiet. You guys all heard that, right? That's a joke. You didn't hear it? Can we turn the audio up? We'll pop that again because that's a really funny joke. Google wants it to be like a drive-thru window, but we know what happens at the drive-thru.
They fuck you at the drive-thru, okay? They fuck you at the drive-thru.
That's really dark. You can't see it. That's Lethal Weapon 2, Joe Pesci. But SEO is really hard because Google keeps changing the rules. And that means you have to change your strategy. So whenever Google changes something, you've got to change what you're doing either for your company or for your clients. And so a couple examples of the things that change with SEO that you have to keep up with. Now, all the SEO people in here are going to be really bored because you know about this, but all of you that aren't into it, this is really helpful to explain how things are changing all the time. So first we had the Panda update that targeted crappy content. So once Panda rolled out, now all of us had to start writing better content. Then we had the Penguin update. Penguin targeted bad links. So before, links was just a numbers game. The more links you had, the better you're going to rank. Now it matters where you're getting your links from. Then we had the Hummingbird update. And with Hummingbird, it wasn't a penalty-based update. Google pulled the entire engine out of Google and put a new one in that allows semantic search. So Google's starting to understand what you're asking for and understand that lawyer and attorney are really the same thing, whereas before it treated them completely separately. Now you can ask Google, where's the Statue of Liberty? And it's going to tell you it's in the harbor in New York. And then you can ask Google, how tall is it? And Google understands that it refers to the Statue of Liberty. Before Hummingbird, that wasn't possible. Then we had the Pigeon update. Now, I'm going to dive into this one a little bit more because it has a lot of bearing on what we're talking about today. This happened last summer, and it's an update to how Google calculates local search results. So some of the things that changed with Pigeon. Google let us know when this rolled out, hey, this is based on more traditional web ranking factors. So when we're talking about local search, there's actually a separate algorithm. And it used to be separate, like really different. And now it's based on a lot more of the same factors. And then we saw that the search radius was reduced. So you know when you do a search and you get those results and there's a little map right there? It's about 60% the size of what it was before. So again, your strategy has to change because you've got reduced visibility because of this update. And another crazy thing we saw, depending on the terms that you're targeting, your search radius is going to be different. So here's a really cool example. If we look at Oklahoma City used cars, you can see the size of that map right there. But then if we go Oklahoma City Toyota, see it's zoomed way out. So now, if you're a local business, the different pages on your site are going to have different reach. So it's really important that you understand with the keywords that you're targeting what your potential reach is going to be. And then it also very heavily favors directories. You're going to see a lot of Yelp and TripAdvisor and Autotrader.com and big directory sites. So you need to use Barnacle SEO. Now again, I'm not going to get into it. I just put up a video last week on our blog. So if you go to bit.ly/how-to-Barnacle, that's going to explain how Barnacle SEO works. And basically, it's looking at these searches that you're trying to target and seeing these directory sites and then making sure that you optimize the hell out of your listings on those directory sites so you still get traffic. Then at Christmas, Google rolled out the Google My Business Quality Guideline update. This used to be Google Places. That's probably what you guys are still calling it. And they put out an annual update that says this is what you should and should not be doing. So these updates really changed the game. First one, no more descriptor in your business name. So in April of last year, Google said, you know what, we're going to change and let you actually put a descriptive word after your business name in your Google My Business listing to help you show up in searches. In fact, we encourage everyone to do this, especially if you've got multiple locations, because it's going to help you be found. So make sure you use the descriptor. Then at Christmas, Google comes and does a complete 180 and says, hey, you know what? After all, you can't do this, and in fact, you're going to be penalized if you do it. So if you're not paying attention to the updates, you're going to continue doing what they told you to do that now they said you can't do.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
And then, when we switched from Google Places to Google My Business. Google Places had a limit of 5 categories. Google My Business has a limit of 10 categories. So they rolled it out and Google was like, whoa, guess what, guys? You could do 10 categories now. So fill out as many categories as you can because that's going to help you get found in search. So make sure you fill in all your categories. And in fact, all the tools that you use to see how well your profile is going to rank in Google My Business stuff, they'll grade you on if you have all of your categories filled out. So you can't be 100% unless you have all of them filled out. Then at Christmas, Google comes back and says, you know what? Actually, you should only choose the most specific category. So if you're a car dealer, you shouldn't choose car dealer and Toyota dealer. You should only say Toyota dealer. So again, A complete 180 that now you're going to get in trouble for doing stuff that Google just told you to do recently.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
And then, this is something that auto dealers do a lot. They'll have one Google listing for their sales side and one Google listing for their service side. So you'll have multiple departments with their own listings. Before, you would have the same categories on both listings. Now, Google says you have to have unique categories. You can't have overlap between unique pages. And then now they said flat out, absolutely no question, you can't use virtual offices. So if you're trying to use a Regis office or a virtual business park office, you can't do that anymore. It's not going to rank. And then just on August 7th, we had the new local stack. So before, we had the 7-pack. So you'd do a search, you'd see the 7 results with the map pins and the address and the phone number that would match up to the map over on the right side. Now that's gone. Now we've got what's being called the local stack or the snack pack. It's 3 results. There's no longer an address and there's no longer a phone number. So before, if you could show up there, it was awesome. You had your phone number and your address right there on page 1. People didn't even have to click over. Now it's gone. And now, before, you click on this, you're going to go to the Google Plus page and see the Google Places or Google My Business page. Now, you click on the business, you go to the local finder page. Okay, cool. The big freaking problem with this is all your competitors are stacked up right here. So if your competitors have a better rating or more stars, it doesn't matter if you rank high because now you're stacked right next to them. And it's extra clicks to get to your website now. So this is, again, a huge change in strategy. So how the heck are you guys supposed to know what to do with all of these changes? Well, the best thing usually is to go to the Google Business Forums, and you can get in there and be really polite and say, hey, I'm having this issue. Can I trouble you guys for an answer to this? And you'll hear back,
you could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up.
Obviously, Google's not going to tell you what to do. But luckily, Moz, everybody in here know what Moz is, tool company, SEO stuff. They do a local search ranking factor study every year. They take the top 40 people worldwide in local search. They send us this big, long questionnaire because those of us that are the experts, we're doing local search day in and day out. We know from tweaking things which things work and which things don't. They aggregate all the answers, and you get this pie chart. Now, yes, this still says 2014. We just filled out the sheet for this year, so that'll be released soon, so pay attention to Moz to see that. But this is the 2014 numbers. And so for the rest of the presentation, I'm going to go through these in order of importance to show you guys exactly which signals are going to matter the most to get your businesses to show up. So starting off with on-site signals, this is the biggest piece of the pie. This is your content signals, 21% of the pie, all right? Absolutely important that you guys have great content, but don't take that the wrong way. That doesn't mean push out content every day that's crappy content. That means put quality content out, okay? Stop pushing out all of the crap content that you guys are pushing out. This is the biggest sin in online marketing. And stop doing all of these crappy tricks where you're trying to fool the nerds at Google. You can't fool the nerds at Google. They're smarter than all of us put together. All right? And for those of you that are fans of the 80s, that is Iron Man with a bra on his head in Weird Science. So instead of pushing out crappy content, start being freaking awesome. Okay? Be awesome. And then optimize that awesome content for local search. And these are the things you need to do on each page to optimize for local search. You need your city and state and the title tag. The title tag is the description or the title that goes up above the browser bar where you enter the URL. It's arguably the most important on-page SEO element, okay? City and state needs to be there. Needs to be in the H1 heading on the page as well. That's the big thick text at the top, the headline of your page. Also, make sure you've got your location data in your actual content. Has to be there too. Make sure you've got it in the alt text. Alt text is code that goes in the image embed that explains what's in that image. So if the image is missing, there's still text there that says, hey, that's what this image is. Also, Google can't see what's in images, so this explains that to Google, so it's a great place to add location information. Also, for internal pages, obviously you can't do it on your URL, but internal pages, make sure you got the city and state information there. Instead of dealership.com/used vehicles, put dealership.com/used cars Oklahoma City. And then in the meta description, now all the SEOs in the room are saying, but the meta description doesn't matter. But you know what? The meta description is what shows up under your listing when you show up in Google. And that's going to help you get more clicks if you've got that location information there. And then it's super important that you have an embedded Google map on the page. But you got to do that map from Google My Business, not from Maps. Because if you're just going to go put your business address in on Maps, it looks like this when you do the map embed. But if you do it from the map that's on your Google My Business or Google Places page, it looks like this. So now you're labeled and you've got your aggregate star rating. It's a much better signal for Google and for your customers. And then you need to make sure you've got your NAP on every page and that your NAP is marked up with schema. And all the non-SEO people in here are like, hold on, what the hell is NAP? NAP is name, address, and phone number. And schema is code that the search engines got together and decided that they would all agree upon to help organize your data. So this is what humans see on your site, and the code behind it with schema looks like that. And notice, right there at the top when you're declaring your schema, we're telling Google right off the bat, hey, this is an auto dealer. And then with the hours, it doesn't matter how you're writing your hours out because you're formatting the hours in the way that Google wants to see it. So Google crawls your information faster and knows exactly what you're telling it. And then you've got to be sure that you've got a local phone number on your site. Forget 800 numbers. People do not need toll-free numbers. Everybody has cell phones. Local phone number, super important. And then you need a blog, and you need to blog regularly, okay? And make sure that you're pushing out stuff that people really want to read. Don't just put blog posts out because you heard me say you have to put blog posts out and you're pushing out crap. You've got to share awesome information about your local area. So if you need tips on local blog content ideas, article on Search Engine Land, bit.ly/local-content-ideas. And then also, if you're trying to rank in a nearby city, it's much harder after the Pigeon update last summer, but it can still be done by using local silos. Again, don't have time because I apparently have 5 minutes left to go through like 100 more slides. So go to bit.ly/local-content-silos, and that explains the concept of using local silos so that you can rank in multiple cities that you're not actually in. Boom. Moving on to link signals, 18.3%. And like I mentioned earlier, it's no longer a numbers game. It's really important that you get links from somewhere that has a reason to link from you and has context. Now, because of that, the traditional link builders, the old school SEO guys, even the new school guys that do the big national SEO, they're only going to try to get links from really big sites that have a lot of authority because that carries more value across to your site. But I'm going to give you a pro tip. Don't ignore the really small local sites. I love the crappy little church websites and Little League websites because these small sites, nobody else goes after them. And your competitors aren't going after them. But because you know how to do local, because you heard me talk, you know that these little crappy sites carry a ton of value. You can get a couple of links from these crappy sites, and your competitors are going to go, how the hell are you outranking me with these shitty links? So you want to go to Open Site Explorer for Moz and use that for your link research. You can go there to get to it. You could also use Majestic or Ahrefs, or you can combine all three because they all pull different information. Then you want to make sure you're taking advantage of relationships that you already have with the business and make sure that you're taking advantage of the things that you're already doing. If you're doing a sponsorship, make sure you get a link from that website. If you're friends with the mayor, make sure that you can get a link from him. If you go to school with somebody on the school, or go to church with somebody on the school board, you could take advantage of that. Moving on to citations, 15.5%. So, citations are mentions of your name, address, phone number on other websites. And most businesses and most SEO agencies don't do squat with them. Okay? It's super important that you pay attention to this. If you're almost on page 1, or if you're almost in that 3-pack, so if you click the button and go to the Finder page and you're like number 4 and you want to get up to the top 3, citations can really push you over the hump.
What hump?
Yes, thank you. There's some Young Frankenstein fans in the room. I actually have a Young Frankenstein tattoo, so great movie. All of you young bucks that have not seen Young Frankenstein, it is the greatest comedy movie ever made. Write that down in your notes and go see it. So your citations play together like this. This is the local search ecosystem. You've got the thick lines that are the top level feeds that feed to the second level, that feed to the third level, and everything compares back to Google. It's very confusing. There's a lot of sources there. And David Mim is the guy that runs the local search ranking factor study. He has a great quote, says, you need to be where Google expects you to be. If Google expects that your business should be on these 30 directory sites and you're only on 15 of them, that could be a huge reason why you're not ranking as well as you should be. And your citations need to be 100% consistent. Name, address, phone number need to be the same everywhere that they appear. If you've got incomplete or inconsistent or duplicate data, that sends a really bad signal to Google. So you could do a high-level check with a tool called Moz Local. This is free, moz.com/local/search. You put in your business name and your zip code, and it spits out a list of possible citation matches. You only want to see one thing here. This guy, it's bad. Bob Moore Ford, if you're in the room, sorry, I'm dogging you. If you've got multiple listings there, that's because they've got different phone numbers. That's bad. That's bad for your citations. But then you click in and you get a graph, and it shows you how well you're doing. The really cool thing about this tool is you don't have to figure out where your listings are. You just click right there, and boom, it takes you right to your listing. Super awesome. Really great tool for a high-level check. Then you want to get more advanced with a tool called WhiteSpark. It's a Canadian site. Sorry, Dana, but Canadian sites are weird. They have .ca instead of .com. It's really confusing. But you go to bit.ly/local-citation-finder. This is $20 a month, but it's the best tool you'll ever use. You put in your phone number, it finds every citation that exists. If you've ever moved or changed phone numbers, the number one priority you have is to clean up your citation data. Really quickly, Google My Business. I got like a minute and a half left. 14.7% of this, almost 15%, super important. The most important thing you can do is claim your listing. If you haven't claimed it, you're not going to show up in search anymore. If you're having problems getting that postcard to claim it, you can use Google Phone Support. And just like Black Dynamite, you can make sure your Kung Fu does not get interrupted because they're going to call you when you ask them to call you. Article on Search Engine Land, bit.ly/Google-phone-support. Nobody was laughing at my Black Dynamite joke, so I guess nobody's seen it. Google Phone Support, that's my article on Search Engine Land. It explains how to use this. Definitely an important tool. This is really good if you work with a business where somebody claimed it and they're no longer there and you can't get into it anymore. They'll help you get in. Crazy stat from Google here. People are 38% more likely to visit you and 29% more likely to buy from you if your Google profile is completely filled out. Because most of the time it's what they see first. Now that we have the update, I'm guessing this will not be very accurate anymore. But to optimize your page, you need a long description. With Places, it was a 200-character limit. Now it's huge. You can format your text and put links in it, so do that. Make sure you're choosing the right categories, like we said. Make sure you're uploading lots of photos. Make sure that you're putting that local phone number in there. Don't put an 800 number in there. It's going to hurt you. And make sure you've got a custom user image and a custom cover image. Review signals, almost 10%. 88% of people now trust an online review from an absolute stranger equally to something that a friend or family member tells them. They trust online reviews as much as friends and family. And 4 out of 5 people will decide not to do business with you if you've got bad reviews. And you can't fake good reviews, and you can't fake caring about your customers. I talk to car dealers all the time, and I tell them, I can't help you if you're a shady mofo, right? If you're going to be a shady used car dealer and screw people over, no amount of SEO and reputation management is going to help you because you suck, okay? You got to look to yourself if you want to get good reviews. You got to remove roadblocks, make it easy, and you have to ask people to leave you reviews. But you can't ask for Yelp reviews because it's against Yelp's terms of service. It'll get you in trouble. But you can't ignore Yelp because it powers Apple Maps. So how much business do you lose if people look you up on Google and see you got a good rating and they want to find out how to get to you and they look you up on Apple Maps and they see you got a 2-star rating with 6 reviews on Yelp? That's bad. So you want to set up a /reviews page on your website that has a link directly to your Google page so people don't have to find it, and everybody on staff knows to send people to domain.com/reviews. Then you hand out branded postcards that say, hey, thanks for doing business with us, go to this page. And then they go to that page and then they can get right to Google. And then you want to follow up with an email, but you don't want to automate it because if you send an automated email to me after I've already left you a review, I'm going to think you're a jackass and I'm going to go change it to a bad review for bad customer service. You want to concentrate on Google reviews, not third-party reviews, because Google reviews help you rank better, and they're the most visible reviews. It's the first thing people are going to see. You got to get 5 reviews to see the aggregate star rating. You need to get at least 10 reviews before you go to another site and target reviews on Yelp or somewhere else, because that gives you a bit of a rankings bump. But really, you want to make sure on Google that you have more reviews than any of your competitors. But you don't want too many more. I was talking to a car dealer last week, had 682 positive reviews. They had a 4.9 rating on Google. The next closest guy had 80. So all the other guys in town are like 70, 80. This guy's got 680 something. It looked fake. Also, final bonus tip, do not tether Facebook to Twitter, okay? When you tether Facebook to Twitter, it lets you post on Facebook, it automatically goes to Twitter. That's freaking lazy, okay? You can use Hootsuite for that, people. When you do it that way, all the pictures that you share show up as fb.me links. So now the people like me that prefer Twitter are in Twitter. I don't know if that's a link to a blog post. I don't know if it's a link to your site. I don't know if it's a photo. It sucks. It's crappy. Don't do it. Whew. Hopefully that was not too fast and painful. Now when you guys look at Google and you're talking about SEO, you're not going to have a blank stare. Peace. I'm out. Here's my contact info. You can follow me on Twitter. If you're on Twitter right now, you probably noticed I was live tweeting downstairs. Today is my first of 10 conferences. In the next 2 months, I live tweet everything, so that's a really great source of free info. Questions, email me there. And for those of you that do question that I really did do that many, if you download the deck, there's a list of all the movies.
Greg Gifford, wow, thank you. We've got time for a couple of questions, Greg. Really not very long at all. I feel like you just pulled up in a DeLorean and I jumped in, you left the doors open and sped off at 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, my hair is all up.
I went too fast to even point out all the tattoos I have. I've got Ghostbusters, Young Frankenstein, James Bond, Die Hard, and Goonies. And I'm about to get They Live. So
maybe you can take photos of each one from the dressing room. Maybe Ian can help you. And
That'll
you can
be an
hashtag
interesting photo
Confluence
set
Con.
for the hashtag.
And maybe someone can take a photo of you guys doing that.
Right.
And you can use that for your Ashley Madison profile.
Right.
Okay. So I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions because this is a burr for everybody. Local SEO. Anybody? Okay, it's easy, right? Well, I guess they learned everything
He's got
they
one.
need to know.
What's
So.
the URL for the slides again?
Bit.ly, so bit.ly/Goonies, Goonies, for anybody that hasn't seen it, and if you haven't, you're fired. So bit.ly/Goonies-local-SEO.
And if you go on the Twitter hashtag ConfluenceCon, there's Confluence have tweeted out a link to the slide share for that presentation. Any other questions? Madam?
So we have a few different buildings for our company, but you did say you only want one address, but we really have three for three different types of things that they're visiting us for. How do you...
What type of business is it?
Trophies.
So there's a different need for each location?
Yes, we have like a showroom, and we have a pickup center, and then we have like a warehouse. So
Do customers ever go to the warehouse?
well, people who, maybe not customers, but people that are, we have people all over the country that work for us.
So first thing I would see is pull the terms that you're targeting in Google and see if you get that map pack result, the 3-pack. If that does show up, heck yeah, I'd use all three, because if you've got three, that's potentially you could get all three of those slots and dominate that, because if you've got different addresses, you can show up in that pack. Beyond the pack, the Google My Business stuff is important, but it's not going to affect as much when you're talking about organic.
So I'm sure you may have questions later. Unfortunately, Greg is jet setting off to London.
Find me at lunch.
Find him at lunch. There we go. Thank you very much, Greg. That was beautiful.